It's our stories. Welcome to a world where real stories sounds like a movie script.
Hi everyone, my name's Alex. I'm 29, and never in my wildest dreams did I think I'd be sitting here talking to a camera about the absolute chaos of my personal life. But sometimes life is just too much, and you have to tell it out loud. And honestly, after everything that's happened over the last few months, I feel like I need to get it off my chest before I go completely insane. It all started about 2 months ago. I was sitting on the couch in our apartment. Emma, my girlfriend of 3 years, 27, was curled up in that oversized gray sweater she always wears when she's comfortable. We were having a completely normal Tuesday evening. Dim living room lights, soft jazz playing from the speaker, half-empty mugs of tea on the coffee table. And then, like a punch to the gut, she said it. "I think I need a break," she said. I froze. For a moment, I couldn't process what she was saying. My mind went blank. A break out of nowhere? I remember staring at her, trying to find some clue that this was a joke, or that she'd suddenly remember she was just teasing me. But no, she looked at me, dead serious, those brown eyes shimmering with unshed tears. "I need to figure myself out," she continued, voice trembling. I lost a part of me. I need space to find it. "No contact. Please, it's not you, it's me." Classic. I know that line by heart now. I'd read it 100 times in movies, heard it in stories, but living it? That was something else entirely. And of course, she added a few well-timed tears for dramatic effect. I was stunned, hurt, confused. My heart was pounding like a drum, my mind spinning a million miles an hour. But I told myself, if she truly needed space, I had to respect that. I couldn't fight it. I couldn't beg. I couldn't demand explanations. I had to let her go, at least temporarily. We shared an awkward hug. She packed a small bag, just the essentials, leaving the rest behind. She said she'd stay with her sister, Emma's older sibling Sarah, to sort things out, and she promised she'd be in touch. I nodded, trying to keep my composure, trying to tell myself that maybe, just maybe, this was a journey we could both survive. The first week without her? Hell. Absolute soul-crushing hell. My apartment felt empty in a way I didn't even know was possible. I kept staring at my phone, expecting her to call or text, hoping against hope that she'd just change her mind and laugh it all off. I missed her. I worried. I replayed every conversation we'd had, every smile, every touch, every little thing I'd done wrong. And all the while I told myself, respect her journey, respect her process, don't mess it up. Then, 10 days into her self-proclaimed journey, I decided to scroll Instagram. Something to distract myself, you know? Something to fill the void. And there it was. Emma's mom, Linda, 50, bubbly, and ever-present on social media, posted a photo album, Family Fun Beach Getaway. I clicked the first photo. Emma, smiling, surrounded by her parents and brother. Normal family stuff, sweet, innocent. And then I scrolled further, and there she was, arm in arm with a guy I immediately recognized. Ethan, her high school sweetheart. I could feel my stomach twist, my blood run cold, figure myself out, no contact, space to find herself. That wasn't about self-discovery. That was a calculated, deliberate move to reconnect with her old flame, while leaving me dangling, waiting patiently like a fool. And her mom? The enabler, the silent co-conspirator, sharing their little vacation for the world to see. I sat there, stunned, staring at my phone, feeling something in me crack. I felt betrayed, humiliated, and somehow enraged. And that's when I decided I was going to take control of the one thing I could, my dignity. I went into what had become Emma's storage room in our apartment. A chaotic little space filled with art supplies, books, clothes, shoes, trinkets. Her world, packed into shelves and drawers, haphazard and messy. I spent 3 days meticulously packing every single item. Shoes, jackets, art books, trinkets, even her grandmother's earrings. Boxes, bubble wrap, packing tape, detailed inventory lists, photos of each box before sealing them. I documented everything. I mean, everything. Then I shipped it. Courier service insured, tracked. All dozen boxes delivered to her parents' house. By the time I confirmed delivery, I had changed my relationship status to single, blocked her on every platform imaginable, deleted her number, and deleted our photos from my phone, except for a few backups safely stored away, just in case. And finally, silence. Sweet, draining silence. For the next 3 weeks, I focused entirely on myself. I hit the gym, reconnected with friends, buried myself in work. Slowly, I started to feel like I was breathing again. And then last night, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Hello, Alex. It's me, Emma. Tentative, nervous, expecting me to jump, to cry, to beg. I stayed calm. What can I do for you? She hesitated, then said softly, I think I'm ready to talk. I've done a lot of thinking. I'm ready to figure things out. With us, I paused, let the words hang. My chest tightened. Then, calm, even voice. There is no us to figure out. I could hear the silence on the other end. Emma's breathing was uneven, shaky, like she was trying to process what I had just said. Wait. What, Alex? What are you talking about? Her voice was rising now, disbelief bleeding through every word. I said I needed a break, not that we were breaking up. I let out a quiet, bitter laugh. You said no contact, to figure yourself out. I respected that. I figured some things out too. There was a pause, then the incredulous question. What things? I drew in a slow, deliberate breath. That I don't want to be with someone who lies, sneaks off on vacation with their old flame, and expects me to wait like a fool. More silence. And then came the defensive, almost pleading tone. How did you even... Your mom helped, I said flatly. She tagged Ethan in your family vacation photos. Public, for everyone to see. And Emma, that was your choice. You decided to see if things with him could work while keeping me on the back burner. Her voice cracked. No, it wasn't like that. Ethan was just there. A family thing. Friends with my brother. It just happened. I felt the rising heat in my chest. My patience thinning. Things don't just happen, Emma. Decisions are made. You decided to lie, to go, to get cozy with him. And somehow I'm supposed to ignore that? Emma's voice went higher, whiny, emotional. I was confused. This was part of my journey. I needed space. Stop. I kept my voice low but firm. I respected your journey so much that I facilitated the next stage. Your belongings? At your parents' house? Every single thing. Your clothes, shoes, art books, trinkets. Documented, photographed, tracked, and safely delivered. By the way, I've kept the photos and the inventory lists. Everything accounted for. Emma's tone dropped to a whisper. You packed everything? Yes, I said evenly. Every single item. Your grandmother's earrings? Box 7. Bubble wrapped. Your custom ceramic planner? Box 3. Fragile. Wrapped in 10 layers of bubble wrap. Insured. Documented. Every detail noted. And now, Emma, our relationship is over. There is no us to work through. That's it. A stunned silence followed. I could hear her sharp intake of breath, then trembling. You sent everything? Yes. I let the word hang in the air. Everything. And every moment of waiting for your call, for your clarification, was time I could have spent protecting myself from your deception. It's over. A soft, almost pleading voice emerged. But I miss you. I didn't move. I didn't flinch. Choices have consequences, Emma. You chose deception, lies, and betrayal. The consequence is that I don't want to be with you anymore. I've respected myself too much to go back. Then, as if on cue, a new voice cracked over the line. Alex, this is Linda. What in God's name do you think you're doing to my daughter? Ah, the enabler herself. Linda, I said, calm but firm. With all due respect, this is between Emma and me. Or rather, it was. Now it's concluded. You cannot dictate how I handle someone lying to me. You cannot manipulate the situation. Your daughter made her choices. I made mine. Her voice became frantic. You sent her designer bags. What if they got stolen? You can't just apologize. Fix this. I smirked quietly, savoring the absurdity of it all. Nothing to fix. Emma made her choices. I made mine. The only thing left is for her to unpack the boxes and her emotional baggage. Oh, wait. I didn't pack that one. I could almost picture their faces on the other end. Linda's jaw tight, Emma's eyes wide, red-rimmed with shock. The audacity of it all, their expectation that I would crumble. Emma tried to step toward reconciliation. No, Alex, please. Ethan is a loser. Lives in his parents' basement. I want you. I removed her hand gently but firmly. Calm, unwavering. Choices have consequences. You chose to lie, sneak off, and disrespect me. The consequence is clear. I don't want you. End of story. Linda attempted a veiled threat. We have mutual friends. Shame if they heard how you treated Emma. I didn't flinch. Try me. I have a fully documented timeline. Screenshots of the vacation with Ethan. Courier receipts. Complete inventory lists. Photos of every box. Call recordings. You created this mess. I'll leave my apartment in 5 minutes, or I call security. Then the police if necessary. I walked past them, unlocked my door, stepped inside, closed it firmly behind me, locked it, and leaned against it. My heart was pounding, but my head was clear. Footsteps receded. Silence. Sweet, draining, blissful silence. I poured myself a stiff whiskey. Not exactly the peaceful moving on I'd imagined, but each interaction had solidified my resolve. Calmly, methodically, I'd closed every door. Facts had won. Fiction had failed. About a week later, I was coming home from work later than usual, dragging my feet, feeling the kind of exhaustion that sinks into your bones. The streets were quiet, the evening air cool and sharp. I parked, slung my bag over my shoulder, and noticed something unusual. Shadows on my front stairs. At first, I thought I was imagining it, the exhaustion playing tricks on me. But no. 2 figures, Emma, sitting there, head down, hugging her knees, trying to make herself small, and looming over her, like a storm cloud, Linda. My first thought, seriously? Both of you? At my doorstep? I stopped a few steps back, hands in my pockets, forcing calm. Evening, I said evenly, though my heart was hammering in my chest. Emma looked up, red-rimmed eyes, messy hair falling across her face, determination creeping into her expression. Alex, we need to talk, properly, face to face. Not over the phone where you can be a coward. Your behavior was appalling. I kept my voice low, careful not to escalate. I'm not sure there's anything left to discuss, Emma. I was clear before. I am not being a coward. I ended the call because I was being insulted. She inhaled sharply, voice trembling. You have to understand it was a mistake. Ethan means nothing. My mom thought it would be good for me. I'm just trying to help my daughter. I let out a small, humorless laugh. A good mother facilitates a secret rendezvous? The words hung between us like glass. Nice try. Doesn't change anything. Trust is gone. You cannot rebuild that by showing up on my stairs. Emma tried to step toward me. I didn't move. No, we can't. Not interested. Linda's voice cut in, sharp, incredulous. Alex, you know my daughter. She's been telling people how controlling and difficult you are. How you threw her out. I raised an eyebrow, fighting the urge to laugh. Controlling? I gave her space, packed and shipped her belongings, insured and documented everything. How was that controlling? I even changed the locks for security. Your key wouldn't even work. Small detail, but satisfying. Emma's face crumpled, a mixture of shock and despair. What about my custom ceramic planter? You smashed it, didn't you? I shook my head, deadpan. Actually, I took pride in packing it. Box 3, fragile, wrapped in 10 layers of bubble wrap. Every corner protected, every detail documented. You can unpack it yourself. Tears and frustration bubbled over. Emma grabbed my arm. No, Alex, please. Ethan is a loser. Lives in his parents' basement. I want you. I gently removed her hand. Calm, unwavering. Choices have consequences, Emma. You chose deception, disrespect, and lying. Consequences are real. I don't want you. That's it. Linda stepped forward, veiled threat in her voice. We have mutual friends. Shame if they heard how you treated Emma. I didn't flinch. Try me. I have a fully documented timeline. Screenshots of the vacation with Ethan, courier receipts, inventory lists, photos of every box, call recordings. You created this mess. I'll leave my apartment in 5 minutes, or I call security. Then the police, if necessary. I walked past them, unlocked my door, stepped inside, and closed it firmly behind me. Locked it. Leaned against it, heart still hammering but head clear. Footsteps receded. Silence. Sweet, draining, absolute silence. I poured myself a stiff whiskey. Not exactly the peaceful moving on I had imagined, but every interaction had reinforced my decision. Calmly, methodically, I'd closed every door. Facts had won, fiction had failed, and for the first time in weeks, I could breathe. That night, I lay awake in my apartment, listening to the quiet hum of the city outside, replaying every moment in my head, every word they had said, every pleading look, every veiled threat. And I realized no amount of tears, manipulation, or entitlement could undo what had been done. I had stood up for myself. I had refused to be played, and now I was free. About 10 days later, I started thinking maybe the storm had finally passed. Maybe they'd finally realized I wasn't going to cave. Silly me. Out of nowhere, I received an official-looking email. A scanned letter from a lawyer. My stomach sank, and for a moment I felt that old familiar panic creeping in. But then I opened it. Emma. She was suing me. $5,000 compensation for emotional distress, displacement, loss of shared assets, and, get this, misappropriation of valuable personal items. I laughed out loud. Sitting on my couch, the whiskey untouched now, I laughed for a solid minute. The valuable personal items line was almost too much. I had meticulously packed, photographed, insured, and shipped everything. Every item accounted for. Not just valuable, pricelessly documented. I called my lawyer, Mark, a calm, pragmatic guy I'd known for years. "Mark, this is insane," I said, still chuckling. "Do we even have to respond?" Mark's voice was steady. "Yes, but we respond with facts, documentation, and zero emotion. Polite, firm, unambiguous. Make it clear there's no basis for these claims. Send it off, sit back, and let the silence work for you." And that's what we did. The letter outlined everything. Emma's voluntary departure, her request for no contact, her premeditated vacation with Ethan, evidenced by Linda's Instagram posts, the courier receipts and tracking numbers, signed delivery confirmations, complete inventory lists, and photos of every box. We explicitly stated that any further harassment or extortion would result in a countersuit for harassment and defamation. I sent it. And then silence. Absolute, deafening, glorious silence. A week later, I got word through a neutral mutual acquaintance, someone secretly rooting for me, that Emma had a meltdown after receiving my lawyer's letter. Linda was furious. Ethan, realizing the chaos and the looming possibility of legal complications, decided he wasn't ready for all this baggage. He told Emma he couldn't be involved, wished her well, and walked away. The irony was rich. Emma, now single again, was back at her parents' house, surrounded by her boxes, frustrated and furious. Her mom, still in shock, blamed me for ruining her daughter's life and for driving Ethan away. Zero self-awareness. Astounding. Even better, some mutual friends that Linda had tried to rally against me began asking awkward, pointed questions. Wait, didn't she go on vacation with Ethan while with Alex? Didn't your mom post those photos? The smear campaign began collapsing under the weight of reality. People could see the manipulation for what it was, and me? I didn't celebrate. I didn't gloat. I didn't scream or throw things. I just breathed. Every interaction, every carefully documented step had protected me. I could finally feel the weight lifting off my shoulders. Facts had won, fiction had failed. I could finally, truly move on. I changed my number just in case. I felt lighter than I had in months. The ordeal had been draining, emotionally scarring even. There had been real hurt, moments where I felt humiliated, played, and discarded. But by handling it with strategy, logic, and calm, I preserved my peace. I had stood up for myself, respected myself, and refused to be manipulated. And then I did something for me. Something simple. I set up a date. Someone new, no expectations. Just a small step toward moving on. My apartment felt like mine again. My life, my choices, freedom. I reflected a lot during those quiet nights. About trust, betrayal, manipulation, and entitlement. About people who think the world owes them redemption after deception. About the audacity of expecting patience, forgiveness, or compliance after deliberate betrayal. And about how the best way to handle such chaos isn't with fury or desperation, it's with calm, methodical action. If there's a takeaway here, it's this. Document everything. Draw hard lines. Protect your space. Refuse to participate in someone else's drama. Sometimes the best revenge isn't yelling, it's simply removing yourself and letting their own chaos be their undoing. And in the end, peace. Thank you for staying with me until the end. How would you have acted in the protagonist's place? Write your thoughts in the comments. More fresh and controversial stories every day on my profile. Like and subscribe to this channel.